Have you ever felt like you're giving your all in a relationship only to realize you're just a background character in someone else's story? It's a painful truth many of us face, yet we often brush it aside, convincing ourselves that this is just how things are. But here's the reality check. It shouldn't be this way. You are not a convenience. You are not a stepping stone. And you are certainly not a temporary fix for someone else's needs. Today, we're going to uncover the subtle, often overlooked signs that you're being used in a relationship. This isn't just about the big betrayals. It's about the little patterns and quiet moments that slowly chip away at your self-worth. By the end of this video, you'll not only be able to spot these red flags, you'll also gain the tools to steer your life back toward relationships where your value is truly recognized and cherished. Because you deserve connections that are genuine, balanced, and built on respect. So let's unravel these hidden truths together. Stay with me, because what you're about to learn could be a turning point in how you see yourself and how you navigate every relationship in your life. But before we dive in, don't forget to like this video, share it with someone who needs to hear it, and subscribe for more eye-opening content. And remember, watching until the end will give you the full picture and the meaningful change you've been searching for. Signal 1. One-sided effort. One-sided effort is something most of us have felt, the feeling that you're the only one rowing the boat, while the other person is just sitting back for the ride. You're always the one reaching out, making plans, and carrying the weight of the relationship. This imbalance leaves you drained and unappreciated. Sometimes we ignore it out of fear of losing the relationship, even when it's harming us. But as Marcus Aurelius once said, never value anything as profitable to your character that forces you to lose your self-respect. If you constantly compromise your peace, your dignity, and your values just to keep someone close, ask yourself, what is the true cost of this relationship? Signal 2. Selective availability. Have you noticed how some people are always around when they need you, but vanish when you need them? This is selective availability. They're ready to receive your kindness, your support, your time, but rarely available to give the same back. It's like you're an option, not a priority. Marcus Aurelius reminded us, it's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. Your response to selective availability sets the tone. You can either keep shrinking yourself to fit into their convenience, or you can choose to honor your worth. Signal 3. Absence of genuine interest. True relationships are built on curiosity, care, and genuine interest. But when someone shows little or no concern for your dreams, struggles, or well-being, what you really have is not a bond. It's a transaction. Aristotle said that true friendship is rooted in mutual virtue and appreciation. Without genuine interest, there is no depth. Over time, this lack of care leaves you feeling invisible, unimportant, and alone, even when you're not physically alone. Signal 4. Emotional manipulation. This one is dangerous, emotional manipulation. It's when someone uses guilt, pressure, or subtle control to get their way. You start doubting your own feelings, constantly bending just to keep the peace. But as Epictetus taught, we cannot control external events, but we can control how we respond. The moment you see manipulation for what it is, you take back your power. You are not obligated to play by someone else's twisted rules. Signal 5. Disregard for boundaries. Healthy relationships thrive on respect. If someone constantly ignores your boundaries, whether it's your time, your space, or your values, it's a clear sign of disrespect. Epictetus would remind us, while you can't control someone else's actions, you can control your response. Your boundaries are your responsibility. Protect them. Signal 6. Superficial connection. Do your conversations stay on the surface? Do you feel like, despite spending hours together, you're never truly known? That's a superficial connection. Marcus Aurelius believed that the depth of human relationships matters deeply, that we should seek companionship that helps us grow. Superficial connections may fill your time, but they'll never fill your soul. 7. Training the mind like the body. One morning, as he struggled to push through his workout, Adrian had a revelation. He had always trained his body, but rarely his mind. Discipline wasn't just muscles and willpower. It was repetition of thought. So he began training his mind like an athlete. Daily affirmations, Stoic meditations, visualization of worst-case scenarios so he wouldn't fear them. At first it felt artificial, but soon it became reflex. Just as muscles grow through repetition, so did his mindset. The stronger his mental training, the less chaos could shake him. 8. Choosing hardship voluntarily. One winter morning, instead of driving, he walked 5 miles to work in the biting cold. People thought he was mad, but Adrian smiled through the numbness. By choosing hardship, he made himself unshakable. Voluntary discomfort toughened his spirit. Sleeping on the floor some nights, eating plain meals instead of feasts. He realized that by practicing scarcity, abundance would never control him. Hardship, when chosen, became his teacher. 9. Keeping his word. The turning point came when Adrian broke a small promise to himself. He had sworn he'd run 5 miles, but he stopped at 3. Nobody knew. Nobody cared. But that night, guilt gnawed at him. He realized discipline dies when you break your own trust. The world could forgive his lies, but his soul would not. From then on, he treated his promises like sacred contracts. If he said he'd do something, even to himself, he did it. That integrity became unshakable armor. 10. Living by rules, not just goals. Goals had always failed him. Lose 10 pounds, save $5,000. They were distant, fragile, but rules lived in the present. So Adrian built rules. I wake at 5:30. I don't touch my phone before sunrise. I run 3 times a week. Rules carried him when motivation died. They became the rails that kept his life moving forward, even on the hardest days. The transformation months turned into a year. Adrian was not the same man who once hit snooze and broke promises. His mornings were sacred. His mind was steel. He no longer chased comfort or bent to impulse. Friends noticed. Strangers sensed something in his presence. A quiet strength, a calm that unsettled chaos. He didn't need to prove anything. His life spoke for him. And one evening, sitting with his grandfather's old journal in hand, Adrian smiled. He had become the man those words had described. Not perfect, but disciplined. Not unshaken by storms, but unshakable within them. Closing reflection. The world still tempted him with ease, comfort, and distraction, but Adrian now knew the truth. Discipline was not a prison, it was freedom. Freedom from weakness, freedom from impulse, freedom from the chaos of the world. And as the rain tapped against the window once more, Adrian no longer felt the storm inside. Instead, he felt the fire within, a fire he would guard one morning One choice, one rule at a time.